race, I don't know.
She's been on phenomenal form all year.
Boy, she's brought her dog. I'm not sure if we can show you the dog.
Oh gosh, I think it was.
He is the most incredible horse.
What do you mean? That's why you're here. Wow.
Hello and welcome to Luhmühlen Lates for 2024. We are back at Germany's most prestigious horse trial. The Longines 5-star is their only 5-star event. And of course, they've also got the 4-star Messmer Trophy, which is also the German National Championship. Of course, it's an Olympic year, so there's that extra little bit of special pressure. The selections haven't been made, so everyone's out to impress the selectors. And it's been a wonderful 2 days of dressage. We've had wonderful, talented riders out there in the famous Turnierplatz Longines Arena, and the long and the short of it is that Ros Kanter is leading the 5-star and Michael Jung from Germany is leading the 4-star. Well, as always, I have my commentator Spencer Sturmey with me, and we have Laura Collett in the middle. And Laura, that is because you are currently second in the 4-star and third in the 5-star. So before we hear what Spencer has to think about your test, we want to hear what you think about your test. Let's start with the 5-star with Hester.
Well, shocked to be lying in third after dressage with Hester, but absolutely delighted with her. She's just been improving all year, and she gave me her all in there. The changes still aren't there, but when they are, then it's going to be very exciting because the rest of the work is that she's showing now is pretty spectacular.
Spencer, on the live stream, on the HNC Plus live stream, you had some really great stuff to say about it. What was your view of the test?
Well, you know, it was just fabulous to see that mare in the arena at Badminton, and then to see her here. We did a comparable because Dan, when he first came here, was basically the same age, and now that was in 2019. He did a 22 dressage in 2019, the European Championship year, and then he came back here for the 4-star, of course, with the Olympics on the horizon. And he just looked like he owned that arena. And we could see the same in the mare as well. You know, she went in there off the back of Badminton and looked more confident, again, like she was starting to think about owning the dressage arena. And you could ride her with such confidence. Yes, the changes weren't as confident as you would have liked, but my goodness me, she went in there and she pulled the stops, didn't she?
She did. She's been a real warrior, and she used to go in, hold her breath, and be genuinely terrified of being in the whiteboards. And that wasn't just being in an atmosphere. That was, I think, Aston Lewis at our first run last year. She did 42 in the no eye. So, you know, she really has come a long way. And each time she goes out, she's getting better and better. And Badminton was a really big deal for her, and I thought she very much could have gone down that centre line and turned around and left the arena.
Can I ask, why is she called Hester?
I've absolutely no idea.
What to do with Cole Hester?
No. I genuinely have no idea. Her owner Lucy bred her. I've never asked the question. I'll try and find out an answer.
Can you find out for us and come back and tell us?
Yeah.
Spencer talked about Dan, London 52. He's the horse, of course, you're riding in the 4-star. You're currently second. He won the 5-star last year. So this is kind of, as Spencer said, a very special place for you and your horses, isn't it?
Yeah, last year he was phenomenal. Came here and, you know, just like you said, he owned it. He thinks this is a fabulous place, and he loves the crowd, and he loves being on a surface. He thinks that's show off time. And yeah, I was delighted with him. Really annoyed with myself in his dressage. I made some very expensive mistakes and got the warm up a little bit wrong. But we were trying new things. Obviously, we're constantly trying to find those places where we can gain extra points and try and beat Mickey Young. We didn't get it quite right today, but hopefully we've learnt an awful lot, and you always learn far more by making mistakes than doing a perfect test. So roll on the next time.
Now, I watched him at 6:30 this morning
Yeah.
in that arena. You were trotting round beautifully, and then you went into canter, and I heard the squeak, and I saw the buck, and I saw the smile.
Yeah, he's. I'm learning to trust him and believe that he knows when he has to be serious. And Yeah, I went back this morning and I said he's off his tits.
So he knows when they genuinely know when they're just in their.
Yeah, so he has a jump saddle on in the morning and he has a different bridle. He has a loose ring snaffle and he knows that's playtime. He can do what he likes, and it was just about getting a bit of energy out and letting him play about, and then he comes out for his test in his dressage gear and he's like, I know to concentrate now. But it's quite nerve-wracking. Last year I wouldn't have been brave enough to trust and not drill him this morning, but I stuck to my plan. I said he's had his playtime and I trust that he'll come out and be good later, and he did, bless him.
I'm fascinated as a complete amateur that you're still tweaking and fine-tuning, and we've got the Olympics in a month's time, and all being well, let's hope that you're there. And you're still tweaking. Are you able to tell us what kind of things, don't give away any secrets, but what are you working on still?
Well, you're not perfect till you get a 0, so we're still way off that, aren't we? So just like all the tests he's done this year, we've done things slightly differently. Burnham Market went for a very safe. It was very accurate, but for me it was a bit boring. He did everything where he should, but there was just no wow factor. So then at Bicton we said, right, we'll try and go for a bit more, have a bit more oomph in him, and he was good, but I didn't practice my centre lines and my halts outside, so I messed all of those up. So part of the work was much better, but there were still bits that weren't, and then we kind of went for broke here, and just sort of tried to see how much we could put into him outside and sort of razz him up basically, and went in, and he was very good, but I messed a few things up because riding him with that much power in an arena, being brave is now learning when I need to do a gentle half halt and when to go for broke. And I got it wrong.
He's such a fabulous horse to watch, and he looks like he's got such a character, like we saw this morning. And like we see every spring when he comes back off his holidays. And if anybody does or should follow Laura on her social media platforms, then he's always quite entertaining, isn't he? And you have to sit very tight.
Yeah, he's good for the core in the winter. But yeah, he's never trying to get you off. He's just he's loving life, and long may it continue.
And at 15, coming back here, the first time he was here, he did look like he was a rabbit in headlights. It was a big occasion, those European Championships, but my goodness me, he has grown up from that and come on, and he's been on some of the biggest stages in the world. Here, he loves it. Last year being the 2023 winner, he just looks so incredible, so fit, so well. What's the secret with him to keep him happy, or is it just the fact that he loves it?
Yeah, just let him keep loving it.
Yeah.
I think in himself he's learned, like you said, when he was here in 2019 he didn't know what he was doing, and he was very new to the level, and that was our roller coaster year, and it was Buccalo after this at the end of the year that was the turning point for him, and from then he's just been a sensational horse that he believes in himself, and that's the biggest difference now, and I just trust him and just enjoy him. And I've said off the back of, when he won his first 5-star at Pau, I said, this horse owes me nothing now, and bless him, year in, year out, he's come back and delivered the goods and made many, many dreams come true, and hopefully he can make a few more.
More to come. Well, we really hope you do, because 3-time 5-star winner now with Babington, Pau, and also Luhmühlen. Who knows, he might win the 4-star, fingers crossed. That we don't want anyone to make a mistake, but let's just hope that you go a little bit quicker, and he jumps well on Sunday. And then of course Paris is on the horizon. It's a nerve-wracking time. You can't change anything when life rolls on and you start looking after them too much, and that's when things go wrong. What sort of plan do you have in store on the run up to Paris? You don't want to change things too much, I suppose. Is it nerve-wracking going out there on the cross-country, because if something happens?
It's the same as any other event.
Exactly, yeah.
I never want him to get injured. I never want things to go wrong. So very much been all year I've had a plan, and touch wood, I've been very fortunate that so far everything's gone to plan. I've gone to every event I've wanted to go to. He's performed brilliantly, and here we are. And we just take each day as it comes and try to just remember it's just another 4-star short. And
just another 4-star short. You heard it first here on Luhmühlen Lates. Laura Collett. He's had some brilliant wins. I mean, you had your win at Burnham Market with the 4-star. you had the 4-star win at Bicton. We're not going to talk about that for obvious reasons, but he's on flying form, and you've done such a brilliant job. We won't leave Hester out of this either, because it's down to your work. We're convinced, because you do put a lot of confidence into these horses, and we know the mare, having started with Tim and Janelle, well, Janelle predominantly, and Tim stepped into the saddle, and then Alex. But you've really gelled with her, and she's learnt a lot, and she's starting, as we said on the live stream, she's starting to trust you, and you look like you're having a bit of fun out there now.
Yeah, I've always absolutely loved her. She's been a challenge, but love a challenge, and she's really rewarding, because she really wants to do it, and she's only ever made mistakes through pure anxiety, and she's not a naughty horse at all. She's an absolute darling, and she's so much fun to ride cross country. Badminton was, a complete shock to her, and to me, she wouldn't be a horse that I would pick to react like that to the crowds, but badminton's just a different ball game, and you don't know until you go there. No. She went to Bicton and was fantastic straight out the start box, feeling like normal Hester. So I said, well, she's fitting well, let's come to Luhmühlen. She's she's had a fantastic spring. She had a fantastic year last year, so I've no reason not to believe that she'll go out and give me a good ride like she has done before, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But you don't know that they're 5-star horses until they jump around a 5-star.
Nope,
So
you certainly don't.
Well, we're going to talk to Mike Etherington-Smith in a moment, obviously the course designer here at Luhmühlen. But just before we do, just quickly give us your thoughts on the course. How are you feeling about it?
I think it's brilliant. Both of them are brilliant tracks. They always do such a fantastic job here. The presentation and the build of the fences is brilliant, and really looking forward to going out. I think the 5-stars got an awful lot of questions, but everything's on a very positive distance, so hopefully it will encourage positive riding, and hopefully we ride it like we're meant to.
Well, the man responsible has just slid in next to you there, Mike Etherington-Smith. I don't know how much you can say in front of Laura. Is there like a protocol where you can't tell me anything now that you've got a competitor sitting
I
in?
talk rubbish. It's fine. These guys
It's going to be a distraction.
I just talk rubbish, so I don't give any advice ever. It's just nonsense.
Mike, you said to me earlier when I was chatting to you that you ramped this year's course up. I mean, last year's course was pretty influential. So how have you ramped it up?
It's tweaked. I think there's just a little bit more riding that's required this year. I don't know what you think. It's kind of hard here because it's flat ground. There's not a lot of opportunities to use terrain. So, you've got to sort of quietly be a little bit cuter here, I think, than if you've got lots of terrain. Life's easy. Come somewhere like this, it's basically flat. It's a bit more challenging. So, I think both the classes are a tweak up, not massively, but a little bit more than they were last year. And, I mean, these are guys you need to ask. I have
what do you want to ask him?
I have an old fella's opinion on these things. It's sort of, everybody's saying it's just a little notch up from last year, which is what I was aiming for. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think fundamentally it's the same. It's the same route and it's a similar feel, but I'd say there's just a few more places, a few more questions, a few more combinations. To be honest, there's not really anywhere that for me really stands out. I think it's from start to finish. You have to be on your line. There's not really that many decisions to be made. It's get on and jump the jumps.
It's what it is. It's sort of Route 1.
Yeah,
and
there is really one route.
It's Route 1. Concentrate all the way around, and I want horses to grow in confidence, because there are people stepping up to the level for the first time, and then you've got really experienced world-class riders like Laura here, who are doing it. So you've got to provide a mix, and the beauty of here is actually it doesn't matter what the weather is, the ground is always going to be secure. So trying to make time influential is hard, because actually the good guys, like these squirt around and it's relatively straightforward, because as I say, there's no terrain.
Yeah, and
he says that, but I tell you, riding through those woods on those narrow tracks, you feel like you're going flat out.
Yeah, you do think you're going flat out. I mean, you're right. But also, it's not just physically. You've got to think about, actually, you've got to look after the horse's mental well-being and actually understand what you're doing to horses mentally. So you're quite careful about what you use where, and it's a bit of a package. And
I think from walking it, having been here a few times, what's really nice is everything is very fair and very clear for the horse to understand. There's no traps, there's no tricks. The questions are very clear for the horse to understand, and from a rider's point of view, I think that's brilliant. I don't like these tracks where you walk a line and it's completely blind, and you can't, from even walking it, you can't understand what the line is, whereas I think
it's important
they're very
because
clear.
Horses have a fraction of a second to make a decision. Am I going to jump this? Do I understand it? Will I jump it? And these guys can walk courses. I remember a long time ago, in the older days when I used to ride, for me the most important walk was the first walk, because actually that's what your horse is going to see. And if I couldn't understand it, I think, well, heck, my horse isn't going to understand it. So we have to be fair to the horses, and actually increasingly the sport is now it's all about the rider's ability to ride, because it's unfair. We can't trick horses. We've got to be completely fair to the horses, because you actually want them to grow. As a course designer, you're really trying to produce horses, or give the riders the opportunity to produce horses. It doesn't matter what the level, there's always another competition. And somehow, and this is where it gets difficult, is you've got to separate out those that are having a cracking day from those that are really good horses who are not having such a good day, but in a fair way. So actually, if a rider makes a mistake, the horse doesn't get punished.
And you talked about the going, and we're going to actually talk to Mark Lucy in a minute, who's one of the people responsible for the brilliant going here. But was that in your mind when you decided to come here? Was the fact that the going is going to be good, and you're going to have the big arena, and you've got the flags, and it has a little bit of a championship feel already, doesn't it, Luhmühlen? Was that in your mind when you chose to come here?
Yeah, for me, looking at the schedule, this was the really obvious one. We don't get selected until later on, but you have to plan like you're going, so that you think you're ready. And for me, dressage and show jumping on the surface, show jumping after cross country, and just the type of track out here, twisty, intense, things coming thick and fast, and having to think on your feet, was as close to what we're going to get in Paris. So
okay,
here we are.
Well, best of luck tomorrow. I'm going to have to move you on, because we've got Mark Lucy waiting, and I know, Laura, you need to go, and you've done a brilliant turn for us. Thank you. Best of luck. So second in the 4-star, third in the 5-star. We hope that you'll be on the podium tomorrow. Thank you. Laura Collett there. Now, Laura, the seat is still warm for you, Mark.
It's very hot
So my
seat.
excuse.
No, I want you to stay, because you two have to do a bit of work together, do you?
Oh yeah. I mean, this man's brilliant.
Well, Mark Lucy, for our audience, doesn't really need a huge introduction. Was British team vet for many years. You've been team vet for Spain, and who else have you team vet?
Spain, Portugal, Greece, and GB Young Riders.
Okay, so quite a few teams.
Quite a few.
And you're now like the ground guru, aren't you?
Well, over my time being a team vet, I would go to championships all over the world, and sometimes the ground was absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong, but occasionally you would get your horses out the lorry and think, why did we spend 20 hours coming across Europe to find that we were basically running down ground that was harder than the motorway and probably rougher than whatever. And it galled me a little bit, because when you come to a championship or a big 4 or 5 star, you have to run your horse competitively. You don't come just for a schooling run, you come to do your best. And when we're taking our teams abroad, we wanted to do our best. We wanted to come back with a medal. So when I retired, which was 11 years ago now, I swore I would try and push the agenda a bit. People like Mike have helped
I'm
me.
in the wrong game if you retired 11 years ago.
I retired in 2013 from full-time equine work. I still did teams for another 2 years.
Almost full time ever since.
I haven't missed full-time work for 5 minutes.
I'm just jealous.
So what are you actually doing then? Tell us.
What are we doing? It took me several years to meet a team of scientists. There are 2 scientists from Nottingham Trent University, a couple up at University of Central Lancashire, who had been trying to get into the sport, but because they didn't have my sort of address book and probably perseverance and nag ability, and didn't know the sport that well, they got a bit cold shoulders, because sport doesn't always want to have something new thrust upon it. I met them through the Risk Management Committee, BE Risk Management Committee. I was on that for 10 years. Together, I've given them access. They've got the science. They've written papers. We've done rider perception studies. We've gone through a suite of different measuring tools to find what we think is probably the best at the moment. And we've got data on 250 events. Mike last year put a word in for us through racing, through his Horse Welfare Council work. We have been funded by the BHA and the Ground and Going Committee to survey all the racecourses in the UK and do a paper on that. We're pushing the boundaries.
So here, I see you've got. Well, I thought you were going to show us.
I will, yeah.
Give me your microphone. Well, you've got a bat.
No,
He's
no,
got
I've got-
Oh no, you've got it with you. Wow, it looks like a bowling ball. That is a bowling ball, isn't it?
It is a bowling ball. It's a bowling ball
so
that
you can see it.
bowling ball that two very clever scientists from Vienna. It's called a Vienna surface tester. Two biomechanics experts who work in the Department of Veterinary Medicine, actually in Vienna, developed this about 6 or 7 years ago. It weighs nearly 7 kilograms. We're trying to work out how the horse feels the ground, not how the person does. We drop this from a variety of heights, starting really low and working up a series of 15 drops right up to this level. It knows where it is when it's turned on. It's got GPS in it. It knows how far it drops. It knows how hard it hits the ground. It knows how much it bounces back, so you get an idea of energy return or elasticity, as well, bounce or whatever else like that you like to call it. And because we do it at different heights, we can pick up the superficial strata of the ground or the deeper strata of the ground, and that's the most important thing for the horse. We graph it all out. We put it on a spreadsheet, graph it all out, produce a 0 to 10 going scale. 0 being very, very soft.
Okay.
10 being like the motorway.
And what's Luhmühlen?
Luhmühlen's yesterday was 3.2. Our good range goes from 1.75 to 4.75, so 3.2 is pretty well in the middle of that. It's dried a tiny bit today. It normally dries by about 0.3 every day. It doesn't rain and you get a bit of wind. So it's 3.5 today. I measured it this afternoon. It's going to rain a bit tomorrow morning, so it'll probably drop it back to between 3 and 3.2.
So the going for Luhmühlen's cross country is officially soft.
No, officially good.
Sorry. Oh, it is good.
It's good. Yeah, good. The good range is 1.75 to 4.75.
Right.
Below 1.75 is soft, or good to soft, and then goes to soft. Badminton was 1.2 this year.
Wow. Okay. And Mike, are you pleased when you hear these figures?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, Mark's doing some great work. I mean, not just in events, but in the racing world as well. And this sort of work is long overdue. It helps organisers, it helps people like me, it helps the guys preparing the ground. And the ground is the single most important thing, and the best fences in the world, actually, it's all about the ground. If horses feel secure on the ground, they will perform better. If they get suspicious about the ground, they lose their confidence, and that's when things can go wrong. So actually the work that Mark has done, they've done it largely for love, it's brilliant of him, is fantastic, and it's now getting some traction. I mean, I dread to think how many hours this man's invested in it, but it's great, it's fantastic, and that's why I was very keen to help enable the work in the racing world. And so that's ongoing.
We've got another 6 months of work to do that.
It's really interesting. Thank you for coming to Luhmühlen Lates.
That's all right.
And I shall go around and maybe give the ground a bit more thought when I'm walking about. I mean, I'm obviously looking for lumps and bumps, and even at my level, you're looking at how the ground is, but you don't think about
tell you one key thing about this is actually it's not just about the surface, it's what's underneath the surface, because we all walk around and we think this is firm. Actually, forget the top 2 or 3 inches. It's what's underneath that.
It's the next 6 to 8 inches.
And
Is what the horse feels. That's what I'm saying. Is we pick up what the horse feels rather than what we do. You can often walk the course and think it's lovely, or like badminton last year when everybody thought it was actually fraction on the soft but lovely, and it was not. It was very deep and towering for the horse. They just went in that little bit every stride. Event horses don't like to go in too far.
Well, keep up the good work, Mark. It's absolutely brilliant. And thank you, Mike. Good luck tomorrow. Fingers crossed we have a great competition. I'm sure we will. Well, dressage, of course, here doesn't require your bowling ball machine, because we're on a surface here at the Turnierplatz at Luhmühlen. And on Thursday's dressage, we had to have a ride of the day, because every year we have a ride of the day. And on Thursday, it was France's Tom Carlile. Thomas, Tom, bonjour. Je m'appelle Elizabeth from the television. We are coming to see you because you won Ride of the Day yesterday for your dressage with Dominic de Beillard. Oui. So the commentator, Spencer Sturmey, gave you the Ride of the Day. So you have...
Where is he?
He's up in the tribune.
I'm going to have to champagne shower him.
And then you have some Dubarry socks.
Oh, lovely socks.
You have some socks.
Jean-Pierre, viens. Ils nous ont félicité pour le dressage, pour l'équitation de la journée hier.
Ah, bah c'est gentil. Très gentil.
I didn't do it on my own, and Jean-Pierre helped me a lot with the horse. So.
Well, Spencer said you rode it beautifully. The horse is lovely. A couple of mistakes, which is why you didn't lead, but he thought you did a great job.
Thank you very much, Spencer. And assume the little mistakes. We know where the horse is, and
and it's sort of a preparation run for him. So I was happy with his performance, and it's a work in progress. Thank you very much.
Well done. Bon chance.
Merci beaucoup.
So Tom Carlyle looking very pleased with his new Dubarry socks, champagne and keyring. Now to Friday's ride of the day, and we are joined by, drumroll, Tom McEwen. He doesn't know, but what this means, Tom, is that Spencer has given you his Ride of the Day award.
Yeah, Tom, Brookfield Quality, we just thought was an outstanding test today. We thought should have got into the lead, but there you go. These are the things that happened. We have given you a bottle of champagne. We've got the purple and white ribbon on too, and also some prizes from Dubarry as well. So our 2024
Thank you very much.
Ride of the Day
Thank you, Spencer.
is Tom McEwen and Brookfield Quality.
But while we've got you, can you tell us about your dressage and how you feel and how you're feeling about the competition?
Yeah, of course. It started off really well yesterday with CHF Coolizer. Absolutely delighted. What I'd call sort of a clear round of sort of the of a dressage test. Really clean, nice changes. It's not probably her best phase, to be honest, but she was fantastic and as good as she could do. And then on to today, really pleased with Dubs this morning in the 4-star test. And then I've got a bottle of champagne for it now, but Old Norris was awesome, to be honest. He moved from arena outside, and all he kept doing was finding a new person on a new bench to spook at, so much so that I was only using a little fraction of the last warm-up. And to be honest, he was amazing. He tried his heart out. He always does as much as he can for you, and you just have to relax and trust him that he's going to get the job done when he gets in there, which he always does, to be fair to him.
You're on 28.3. Ros in the lead is 24.9, which obviously looks big, but that's obviously just dressage, and we've got the cross country to go tomorrow. But we're not trying to kind of be critical, but how are you feeling about your score? Are you happy? I mean, obviously you'd rather be in the lead, but you feeling like it's all right?
I'm probably not allowed to say it, but the marking's been so boring. I mean, it's the same marks for everyone. They use between a 6 and a 7, the odd 5, and it's just dull. And every now and again, somebody...
I'm giving Tom a high five.
Somebody gets an 8, but I mean an 8.
Yeah.
I mean, how boring... Like, I'm going to be honest. Like,
we didn't elicit this, so it's fine. Carry on.
That's all right. If I was sat in the stands, there's nothing more boring than everyone getting the same marks. You want to see the odd 9, the odd 10. People have done some stunning work.
Stunning.
And I'm not even just talking from my own perspective. I've seen other tests, but if I go back to my 4-star test, to only be a couple of marks ahead of people doing slightly average tests, not to be rude, but slightly average tests.
Couldn't agree more. We've been saying the same thing. We've had some pretty high-flying people messaging in saying couldn't agree more, so we're thrilled about that. Even Mr. Hester himself, God, messaged in and said we're loving the commentary and quite agree about the marking. So it is, but it is what it is, isn't it? And we have to go with it. And we would look at some of those changes and think, well, it's an 8.5 all day long, 6.5. What? It just didn't make sense to us. But then we had to take into the consideration the half circle before. But it didn't make much sense.
You don't need to make excuses.
We are where we are. You've got 8 seconds. You're 8 seconds behind with Brookfield. It's an amazing opportunity. They've all performed brilliantly, but to have 2 in the top 4 is
delighted. Yeah. But like you say, that was my opinion on the dressage. But tomorrow's another day. And to be honest, it now makes for a very exciting competition. Yeah. Everyone is super close in both classes. There isn't much to play.
No.
There's an awful lot to play for. Sorry, wrong way around. And the courses are amazing. They're beautiful. Plenty of questions throughout. The skinnies are skinny. I'm just some places I'm not too sure if you can even fit a horse through, to be honest. But look, the ground's perfect. We've had a lot of rain. It's drunk it up, and actually is getting firmer as today's gone on. And obviously we're expecting rain tomorrow. So.
And just talk about the test with Dubs as well, because I mean that in itself is an amazing story, with him being the European champion with Nicola. You then came in to do your test today. We, Lucinda Green and I, both thought that his whole shape has changed dramatically over the course of the last 12 months at least. But he looked like a completely different horse.
Yeah, so I've had loads of help with Ian, who's helped Nicola all the way throughout, and I've been also having a bit of help with Carl. And to be honest, I completely agree. And I do also agree with somebody else says, like, for me, he was softer over the back, through his body, really nice connection. He's actually taken some time and a bit more air with his front leg.
We
But that
said
being
he used to look like he was quite tight in the neck, and he just looks so much.
Yeah, and actually
better
the
this
problem
year.
is with it is that sometimes what it feels like, when for me this feels like one of his best tests, sometimes some of those power tests that we've done before actually are what the judges are looking to see.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Can I just ask, you said you've been having some help with Carl Hester and lots of other people. What do you think they've said to you that's made the difference? Is it quantifiable?
No, so Nicola's always had lessons with Ian, and I've just recently been having a few lessons with Carl. All been super helpful, but if I'm honest, Nicola was already on that progression, and I've just been lucky enough to join at the tail end, to be fairly honest. So, no, nothing special, and you would have seen exactly the same, if not better, with Nicola. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And cross country here, you've had a
modest.
Well, it's just fascinating because for someone like me and my rubbish level, when someone like you has already got a horse doing amazingly well, and the horse has already won the
And it's
Euros
not
and
rubbish
everything
level.
else. No, but someone's already won a major championship on that horse, and then as they progress, okay, so we're not maybe attributing it to any particular rider, but it's just how they progress, how horses progress as they get older and as they get more mature. And it's the lowly people like me would just love to know how those progressions happen, whether it is just a case of time. And
for me, it's definitely a case of time. I would definitely say, however nice and incredible Dubs was, it definitely took me over a year to get to know him, and a little bit sort of make him mine to a degree. Not just with the flat work, but with the jumping as well. And actually just find my way a little bit. Like all those little mistakes that you make as a young horse coming up through, you have to sort of react quite quickly and change and find your way a little bit later on, because obviously when you get to these tough events, they don't run very often, and that's really when you find things out.
And did you feel, sorry Spencer, did you feel a pressure taking on a horse that had been ridden by Nicola and had won a big competition?
I felt very fortunate, and of course pressure. I mean, she'd done the most amazing job, and to be honest, it's the same as we're going cross country tomorrow. When people ask if you get nervous, I don't get nervous because I'm worried about anything. I get more nervous because I don't ever want to let the horses down. So all you ever want to do is do as much as you can for them. And so the pressure I felt from that is actually trying to be good enough for Dubs to carry on his trajectory and in his eventing career, really.
Okay, well Tom, thank you so much for coming in. I know it's a bit late and we've kind of kept you away.
I'm halfway around the course.
Oh, so you've got to carry on, but we really need to let you go. Thank you so much. Best of luck tomorrow with all of your myriad of horses and with everything else for the rest of the season. Now, one of the features that we do here on Luhmühlen Lates, one of my favourites, is Dog of the Day. So who is Friday's Luhmühlen Lates Dog of the Day?
My name is Victoria from Pets Daily, and today we are announcing the first dog of the day, Willow.
Yes, and this is Willow from the Heather Distillery, and we are happy to be here, and we are a happy customer.
Awesome.
And Willow is so nice, is so happy that we are together so close.
That's true.
Yes.
And because Willow is so great, and you as a parent are so great, we got a little gift for you.
Oh.
Some of our favorite soft dry food and also some snacks.
This is perfect for my beagle. She's only 8 months, and she doesn't eat everything, but she is in love with this.
Perfect, then
I'm
that's
sure.
the right fit.
Okay, thank you.
Have a lovely
Thank
day.
you.
So a beagle is Friday's Pets Deli Dog of the Day, and well deserved, and a very good plug for his owner's distillery. Now to my next guest, Megan Elphick. You really need no introduction, Megan. You are. I mean, I know you're not keen on the whole influencer tag. What's your favourite name for yourself? What do you like calling yourself?
I go for content creator.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit more creative. I like it.
Well, you are absolutely huge. Everyone loves you. You're just massive amount of followers, huge number of Instagram followers. And of course, now TV presenter, because Megan's Talent Takeover, which I produced. But also, you're going to present this year's Horse and Country All-Star Academy, the Mochara All-Star Academy. So do you like presenting? How are you feeling about that?
I do. I get a little bit nervous. I take a lot of inspiration from you, actually. But I do really enjoy it. And it's a very different world for me because obviously vlogging, I edit it myself. I can be much more sort of chatty and do what I want. Whereas presenting, I feel like it's a slightly different hat that I'm wearing, but something that I do want to get into more. So very, very grateful to have this opportunity with Horse and Country.
And here you are at Luhmühlen for the first time, I assume?
Yes, first time ever. It's amazing.
It's cool, isn't it?
Absolutely loving it. Yeah, really, really enjoying it. I've had a little wander around the cross country, looking large, and then, yeah, we've watched all the dressage today. Great atmosphere, just beautiful. Love the event.
And you're obviously a competitor yourself. You had another top 10 in the badminton grassroots, but this time you stepped up to 100, you said.
I did, yeah. I mean, it feels silly talking about B100 when we're here, but it was a big deal for me back home. My first time doing the grassroots at 100 level, and we had a fantastic run, double clear, and finished 6th. So got to go in front of the house. It's amazing. Really love doing it.
And these are ponies that, well, she's probably a horse actually. They are officially horses, aren't they?
Yeah, we're kind of right on the line.
But you produce them yourself. You do all the hard work. You really do. You haven't. You're famous, but you still do all the hard work, don't you? And your mum, obviously, she helps out. You put in the work, don't you?
Yes. No. So I love getting youngsters and producing them. So we had Jam from a 3-year-old, got over from Ireland. It's just my favourite thing is doing all the early stages. I'm interested in watching the 5 stars, but definitely not competing at them. But it's the producing the ponies that I do really enjoy doing.
Did you get to see much of the dressage today? Because I know obviously you didn't arrive till quite late and you've been walking, but did you get to see any of the good dressage
I
tests?
did, yeah. No, we watched a lot of the 5-star ones actually. Very inspiring.
Your
Roz
favourite?
was just... I think I would have to say Roz, but that's so obvious, isn't it? I think Tom did a fantastic test so late in the day as well. So, I mean, they're all great, aren't they?
I loved the Katie Blaylock test. I thought that was really nice, but you probably didn't see that because I know I've seen you kind of out and about walking around, but that was, I thought, really a nice test actually.
We'll have to catch up on that one.
Yeah, you need to see that. So we've got, as I say, All-Star Academy coming up, which we're going to film in September. What other stuff are you up to?
I'm obviously competing mine. I'm going to try and do my first ever 1-star, which I haven't actually announced. So that's me announcing that. Wow, an exclusive here
and where
today.
Would that be? Do you know?
I'm aiming for Wellington International.
So nice and flat?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know a great deal about Wellington, but I've been on the course pictures and it looks fine from when it's
pretty
on
flat.
just a photo.
I'm looking at Spencer. Wellington's pretty flat, isn't it?
Fairly flat.
Yeah,
Will I be alright, Spenny?
It's flat and
we're getting nods.
Really nicely made. It's all beautifully. Wellington's great. There's a great tack shop at Wellington as well.
Sold.
It's a really good tack shop. It's lovely. I love Wellington. I'm not even going to tell you. I did my first ever novice dressage test there, and it went very badly. But it's lovely, big international arena. It's really, really nice.
Yeah,
I've
been spectating. Yeah, very excited about that.
And Cotswold Cup.
Cotswold Cup, definitely doing those qualifiers. We've just had a little foal, so got a new addition to the herd. So he's taken up a lot of my time, just staring at him. So lots going on, lots keeping me busy.
And when we were chatting with William Foxpitt at the Megan's Talent Takeover down at the Talent School of Equitation, where basically, if you haven't seen it, it's on HNC Plus, it's brilliant. Megan is, I was going to say, beasted by Pammy and Charlie for a week, but it was quite intense, wasn't it? It was very intense.
I think that's the right way
I shouldn't use that word, but it is intense. But when you were there, William said to you, you've got, and Pammy said, you've got talent, you really have, and you could go further if you wanted to, but you're going to keep it at 100, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's my head that really holds me back. I mean, you saw that when I got told off by William Foxpitt. It was rather embarrassing for not wanting to jump an arrowhead. It's a lot of it is all upstairs for me, which is fine. I've kind of come to terms with the fact that I do hold myself back. But again, I really enjoy what I do, and maybe, the foal we've just had, he's really well bred, so perhaps he'll make it feel so easy that I do feel comfortable stepping up. But I've taken that pressure off of myself, so now I'm happy with whatever I do, as long as I'm enjoying it.
Okay, well, enjoy your time at Luhmühlen. We'll be watching out for all your reels and social clips that you're putting up and down. Thank you for popping in.
Pleasure.
And we're going to do a little seat shift now. So Megan, you're going to shifty out, and then Spencer's going to shift back in.
Do this elegantly.
We love this. This is what Luhmühlen Lace is all about. It's the big, it's the big seesaw. Thank you, Megan. Have a good time. The lovely Megan Elphick. She's great. Have you ever seen Megan ride? Because she can ride.
What do you mean, have I seen her ride? I mean, you produced it. She did it.
Yeah,
I was in it.
Yeah, but you were riding.
I know, but I did watch it. Yeah, no, I have seen her ride, and I have to agree with both Pammy and with William that she has got talent. And watching those horses that she brought to Talent,
Well, she had one of her little home breeds.
Yeah, really good. I mean, proper little jumpers too.
William was trying to get one for his kids, actually.
Yeah.
She's very good with little Connemara's or little native types.
I do remember the incident in the indoor arena when Megan didn't want to jump the arrowhead, and
not from a stand. She didn't want to jump it from a standstill.
William will make you.
Anyway, back at Luhmühlen. So let's just summarise, because I'm sure it's the end. It's time for the end. So let's have a quick summary. So, how would you sum up the first 2 days of dressage and looking ahead to the cross country?
Oh, Lizzie, it has been an absolute privilege. It really has. with it being the Olympic year, with it being for many nations and for many countries the final trial, the Olympic selection trial here at Luhmühlen, we've seen some of the best of the best of the best. The 4-star is literally a mini Olympics in itself.
Yeah,
it really is. And you forget that also running alongside it, Michael Jung is heading that German national championship with Annalena Schaff heading the under-25. She's in 3rd place, but it's just incredible. It really is incredible. And to see some young horses coming through. We talked about the likes of Hester and London 52. When he first came here as a 10-year-old, to see him now in 2024, 5 years later, owning that arena, seeing some of those 10-year-olds go in there and be as grown up as they were, who knows what the future holds.
Thank you, Spencer. Marvellous commentary as always. We'll be hearing more from you tomorrow on the live stream, and it all kicks off tomorrow morning, German time. First horse in the 5-star cross country, 8:45 a.m. The first horse in the 4-star cross country is 12:51. Spencer and the team will be on air a little bit before then, and then of course we'll be back here with another Luhmühlen Lates, another different load of guests, more chaos in the crazy Luhmühlen Lates. But for me and Spencer, it's goodbye.
Character traits, I don't know.
She's been on phenomenal form all year.
Look at her boy, she's brought her dog. I'm not sure if I can show you the dog.
I think it was
He is the most incredible horse.
Yes, but what do you mean? That's why you're here.